what's up, everybody? It is Jack Lloyd here, and I am super thrilled because we just had an amazing time back at Megacon in Orlando. And we were originally not going to go to this event, but the reason we did was that Rippaverse said they were going to show up in tables. So we're like, we got to go. So I wanted to do a little recap of our travels and our adventures. It's, me and my wife, the philosopher, our travels there, because it was just such a great time. And I hadn't been back to Megacon since I think 2014. And when I was there doing a little promotional thing for another convention where I was emceeing. So I got to really see a big difference over, what amounts to 10 years between Megacon back then in 2014 and now. And I got to say, it was a wild difference in terms of the turnout. I mean, the number of people who were at this convention was insane. It really made me think that this was becoming almost like the new San Diego Comic-Con. I mean, it was just packed with people, buses of people coming in, shoulder to shoulder, to the point where it's actually almost uncomfortable at many times because you're just trying to go through all the vendors, and there's just hordes of people constantly passing. It was very difficult at times to just, be there without tons of people going around you. But it was a sign of just how successful it was. So I'm going to share some pictures with you from the event and talk a little bit about it. So when we, made our way over there, we parked off site, had to take an Uber over because all the lots were sold out. That is, they had 7 parking lots, and they were technically all sold out. They had overflow, but we're not even going to risk it. So we just parked off site, Ubered over, which ended up being very smart to do because it gets you right up there and you can avoid a lot of things and having to take shuttles. So when we went in, we, kind of walked around and we're hunting down where to go. And eventually we found what was the Rippaverse booth in line. And as you can see here, even when we were there, the line was pretty substantial. And I think part of the reason why, it was so substantial is there was a lot of fans there for the various things that were going on. They didn't just have the Rippaverse crew and their artists. They also brought in some, obviously other people there too, who are sitting down, like Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic. So they had crossover fandoms, which is, again, very smart to do. A brilliant move is to make opportunities for people who are your fans in your circle to have signings and pictures and photo ops. Really great things to learn from, especially if you're a creator and you're trying to, get into this, as certainly I am, and preparing to do this upcoming year. So it was a great idea to do that and to just bring together so many people who had shared fandoms and interests. So we got in line like, everybody else did. And fortunately, we were recognized with everybody else is there. So it was really honoring to see the Rippaverse team give us kind words and shout outs and all that good stuff. And while we were there, Eric wasn't immediately there. He came a little bit later, and he was actually in and out busy because they were doing footage and meet and greets and other stuff behind the scenes. So when he did come, Kara was very kind enough to just be like, oh, hey, Jack and Phil are also here. So we got in a quick hi and hug and, little talk with the team, who was with him before they had to go on to the next thing because, as you'll see, things were hectic. I mean, there was just lines on both sides. When Eric July said that, it's pillar to pillar, can confirm was there. It was that deep, filled with people who were genuinely excited about the Rippaverse and the people they had there bringing their merch to get signed or buying merch and getting that, signed with everyone who was at the table. So as you can see here from this shot, they had, I think, Mike Barron there. They had the Sosa Sisters. They had, a few other members from the team, including security, which I thought that was, kind of wild. They had extra security for Rippaverse. It was beefed up, which was kind of unique to see because it's something that you usually think of for the big celebrities. Like they had Tom Hiddleston there, and that line was massive. We weren't going to go see him, but it was pretty cool to see that he was there. But Rippaverse had that level of like A-list celebrity security, and they had multiple security bouncers, hired security, who was there guarding, making sure everything was good. So it felt good to know, that would be safe, but there was no, issues, or there's no hecklers or anything. Everybody who was there, as far as we saw, and we haven't heard otherwise or seen otherwise, was just a fan and having a good time. And I don't know. I mean, it'd be pretty pricey for a heckler to be like, I'm going to spend all my time to go to MegaCon, pay $55 a person for the day, and have to do all this moving and schlepping to get there. I mean, it would be a huge expense, just to be a nuisance. So, the people who are there definitely were screened out by their entryism and having to pay to get there, in terms of getting to the con and transport and stuff. And they were there because they were true fans. So, they were, that is the Sosa Sisters were awesome. They were doing signings. Every fan, they were, willing to take pictures, give them the hug. They're very personal and friendly. So they did a great job representing the Rippaverse brand. And if you look closely here, you can see Alex, James, and Brandon back there. They're just, helping out. Eric July was back there signing comics because, I mean, it was thick. There was a lot of people who wanted to get it signed, and Eric was like, you come to get it signed, I'll sign. So he was very busy whenever he was in there, just doing the signatures on the books of whatever people would bring. And it kind of forced him almost to, half the time have to just be back there signing, because it's just, there's that much material of people wanting that, that thing in between taking pictures and shaking hands and stuff like that. But everyone who was there, I mean, we were there watching for a long time. I think we actually stood in the line for like an hour, but it was for a worthy cause, and it was a lot of fun. And, while we were even there, we saw several people, of course, who were crossover fans of us too, complimented us on our music videos and our stuff. And that felt really cool to be there, and to also have fans come up of us, that is me and the Foster's work, and give us a shout out and get pictures with us. So that was really rewarding too, while we were waiting. But, we were just watching the whole time, and everybody who was there was just having a blast, big smiles, handshakes, hugs. I mean, it was truly a major fan moment for the Rippaverse, and you can really see the excitement. Like you could tell that this was a huge moment in comics history. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this is that moment, just like with Marvel and DC back in the day, coming into their own and being, this was watching the Rippaverse become that next big company, right? When you're thinking like 100 years of a business operating, existing, right? Like many companies that we see today are, that, they didn't just start last week. A lot of them have been around 100, 150 years, and they've built up these huge brands. And of course, Marvel, DC, not excluded there. But so everything you see had a beginning, and this felt like that. This felt like you're watching the beginning of a revolution in comics and indie comics. So, as you can see there too, that the banners they use were really cool. Lots of great graphics and branding, high visibility, and they really stood out. Oh, and of course, after we did our thing, I had to walk around too and see some of my favorite things. And as you can see there, I got my Alpha Core shirt on, which I'm still inspired by this. You know what I mean? It's such a great design, and I just love this for a shirt like that. Aesthetically, it was such a great job. Like I'm very inspired and thinking about what I would do for the next level shirt, because I've done dye sublimation shirts and a couple other things, but I was like, a logo tee with a great graphic that runs long. They nailed it on this one. And I think this is Igor's work here. I mean, it's a cool tee. It's just like, okay, that's a great design. So I had that on as I enjoyed seeing some Godzillas, and I was very jealous that I did not get to take home as many Godzillas as I want, which would have been too difficult anyway, because as I said, it was so packed. If you had anything meaningful, it would be very difficult to get around. Some people even brought their carts, like they had their own little carts to put their goodies in. But I just had to be there to enjoy the visuals. So my wife, she dressed up as Luffy, and she, went for cutesy Luffy. She didn't do the scar in the face, and we have the authentic shoes like that guy has, but let's be real. For a convention, if you're walking around all day, those shoes are not comfortable. So she had comfortable shoes so that she wouldn't be in pain. And of course, that makes me feel good knowing that she's not like, oh my gosh, my feet's killing me. So there's a lot of great cosplayers. He's got, of course, got the hardened black fist. He's got the scar and stuff. So this guy went all out. So we took some pictures with people as, we thought they had some cool cosplays. Okay. Now this right here, this was such an amazing set. Those who know me, I'm a huge Godzilla fan. And I every time I see the Godzilla collection stuff, I'm like, I got to check this out. So I took some video for myself just to make myself happy, because many of these figures I would like to have. Some of them, I mean, well, I'd say most of them were pretty overpriced, considering what you could just go get online. But, sometimes when it's a rarer figure, you're like, okay, well, I can't get this elsewhere. So.
So no, more money.
Yeah, so as you saw, there's a lot of Godzillas in this one vendor booth, and I wish I could take most all of them home with me. That Meltdown one in the background, the big orange one, they were listing that for $2,400. It's a little steep, but yeah, kind of want it. So unfortunately, though, could not take that one home that time, so we just had to enjoy. And as you can see here, the still image, I mean, it was just amazing how many different big figures they had. Mechagodzilla, and they had some of the new, some of the old. I see Jet Jaguar, Space Godzilla. Some had tags, and actually there was one figure, a Megaguirus, that I would have bought, but there was another, Godzilla nerd who was right there with me. He was in that last shot too, and he picked it up. I'm like, that's the one I probably would have gotten if you hadn't already put it in your hands. But a lot of these are highly sought after figures that. Many of these ran hundreds to even over $1,000 a piece. It's so you have to be pretty serious and also a little impulsive on the want to get it now. And there were some at the convention, other Godzillas that were like, okay, this is not readily available online either. It's hard to find. But, this table was very inspiring, with all their kaiju. Although I do have this one, I do have the new Evolved Godzilla. I'm not too sure how I'm going to like that. I think the pink does at least make sense from what I've seen in the electromagnetic spectrum, that the hot pink actually is like on the higher bandwidth, like or greater frequency. So it at least logically fits. So I'm wondering what they're going to do with that. I will, of course, see Godzilla X Kong G-1 was incredible. Hard to beat that. Probably best Godzilla movie of all time, but we'll see how they do it. Oh, they have that King Caesar there. I have that, but it's in the original packaging. So, yeah, I mean, this was one of my favorite parts besides the Rippaverse aspect and seeing the team there. Anytime I could see Godzilla, it's a joy. And then my wife's back there with everybody going around. Oh, there's an Attack on Titan outfit, and she was having a great time too, enjoying her favorite anime is One Piece, as you could tell from her cosplay. Her gender bender, Monkey D. Luffy. So, yeah, I mean, it's just so cool. Like these are just some of the coolest Godzilla figures. I wouldn't even know where to put half of them with what I have already with other Godzilla figures. So I'd have to make even more shelves than I have already. Oh man, they got everything. Gigan there and so many other cool characters. And oh yeah, there you go. Another one of the new ones. Scar King from Godzilla X Kong, which I do have a set of that as well. I mean, I had to pick them all up, Oh, and of course there was other Luffy's there. There's lots of good ones. This guy really pulled it off. He had the hair and he kind of looked like him. And he really looked the part. You know what I mean? He did a strong cosplay. He fit the character. So, oh, and of course, gotta have Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super. This was a great table here too. Lots of cool characters. They got Brawly, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan. They have, I think, Gogeta. So love Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super. Oh, this is a great one. So they had this guy who did the buff Squidward, and he was totally in character. I mean, he was acting all elegant and dancing as he went. Obviously his body was covered in padding to make it look like he was muscly, but he pulled it off very well. It was a great cosplay, and he acted the part. Of course, you got to always have a Batman. This guy's Batman costume was pretty good. Solid rubber suit. This one was interesting. This is like a humanoid Bowser King costume. This was very, as you could see, custom. looks like painted, sculpted foam. He had his sword, cape. I mean, it's incredible. So this dude went all out on there. The cosplay that we saw in this room, which is the vendor room, was also a little bit more flexible because there's just too many people, right? If your cosplay is too ornate or sensitive, you'd stay out in the main hall because you don't want people bumping into you or knocking your costume. But people who are a little bit more agile and mobile were able to, manage in there. Pickle Rick, he was great. Looks like he's got like the Attack on Titan Zentai suit underneath, but that was hilarious. He's got the gun. Of course, her gun's right there, but that's kind of the joke. Pickle Rick. Oh, I can see a little chainsaw man puppy back there. I just realized. My wife, of course, decided to try on a bunch of different things. She didn't end up getting this, but it was just a little soft covering because she was getting a little cold in there because her costume wasn't very covering, but she didn't end up buying it. Of course, we saw other Godzillas. If I'm not mistaken, level of reflection makes it hard to see, but I think that was a 2004 Godzilla. But look at that price tag, $1,500. That's a lot for a Godzilla. But if you're a fan of that one, you could take it home. Oh, there was cars too. So people had everything from wrap cars to that is, wrapping on the sides to cars from shows and movies. Desertland, the auto museum, brought some pieces in. So this person had a Mikasa Ackerman Attack on Titan car, Mustang wrapped, and that looked cool. So Attack on Titan's a great anime. Highly recommended. Of course, it just recently wrapped with their, final seasons, part 1 and 2. Thought it was an excellent one. Has a lot of great anti-war tropes. Certainly lots of intrigue. Definitely one of my favorite animes. Not the favorite, but, toward the top tier. So, and of course, Pho loves Attack on Titan too. Oh, they had, these are what I was talking about with the Desertland. They brought in some cars. This auto museum from Orlando put some cars on display. So they had the Ghostbusters, Ecto 1, the old kind of ambulance / almost looks like, a hearse kind of car, but it's, the old school ambulance. And I mean, these cars were excellent condition. I mean, just movie realistic, looked incredible. This guy, he did not only the costume with the proton pack, but he's, covered up like as if he was attack scars and goop. He did a good job being funny with it. I had to, of course, take a picture because Ghostbusters is one of my favorite 80s movies. I love the whole plot of it. And at that time, Ghostbusters was in the height of the 80s where there's that little bit of Hollywood cinema history where there were private property, liberty-oriented bents. Like because, not because Reagan was liberty-oriented in actuality, but his rhetoric kind of thing. Certainly at the times, the spirit of the times, there was a little bit of liberty-oriented insertions into Hollywood movies, and Ghostbusters is one of those because they are a private service helping people when the government won't or the government's getting in the way. And so they have a lot of jokes in the original Ghostbusters about the incompetence of government workers. So not only is it an amazing movie with an all-star comedy cast, but it's got, from Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray and whatnot, it's just got great themes to it too. So Ghostbusters, as a kid, I had the proton packs, like the old, blue plastic ones that were awesome. So always got to take a picture with that. They had a Halo cosplay section where they have Master Chiefs and a Master Chef. So not only did they have these costumes in this area to take a picture, they even had prop guns. So as you can see here, Pho, she had one of their prop guns. See, look at that good trigger control. Their finger off the trigger. So you could actually take it and pose with the guys with your own Halo gun, and they had a wide set of them that were, feeling very authentic. They, they could see a little needler in the back there too, and it was just really cool that they had that opportunity to take a picture and to even have props of theirs to use. Oh, this is her with her stepdad, not in real life, but in One Piece, Shanks. So we caught him. He did a good cosplay with that and the hair and everything. So yeah, she loved the One Piece cosplayers. Oh, okay. Circling back to the original with Rippaverse, here's me with Alex, James with Backwards, and Brandon Taylor. So I mean, it was just fantastic to meet these guys because I've been friendly with them online for a long time. They've been amazing supporters of my work with Voluntarist. So I'm like super grateful for that as well. And they said that, you know, I appreciate that their support. And they said, you know, we just appreciate you promoting the Rippaverse so much you did, which, you know, I did obviously with our promo pics and our review videos and my little skits things in the beginning that I did because the detractors were just so stupid that I had to make a comedy skit just parodying them. Oh man! But now I'm gonna focus more on the positive side of things instead of that. That was a good segment for, you know, when the haters were just so ridiculous that I had to do some cosplay mockery of it. But now I want to do some more fun stuff, serious stuff. Who knows? Maybe we'll do cosplay. Maybe we'll do, you know, some type of review or something like that. We'll see. But meeting these guys was so awesome and so honoring and you know, just fantastic to see that Eric July brought together some of his old friends, you know, going back to childhood to work with him. So, you know, it's such a great thing to see. You know what I mean? When it's like you have a rise up team and you have, you know, your friends and family that when you succeed, you know, they can be a part of that success too and you know, reap the benefits. That's kind of, you know, what I like to do too. I have that mentality with what I do. And obviously you could see that at times when you see the full sorts of my videos or my brother Josiah, you know, either acting as a character or being in a music video and things like that. So I definitely like doing that. Our friends who do cameos or cosplays, you know, that kind of thing. I love doing that kind of thing. So yeah, so Fug got a picture with them too. She was, you know, all smiles, ear to ear, loving it. Just so cool. Oh, and here's another again, because wife loves One Piece. So we found this mostly gender bender team of cosplayers outside. And so she had to hop on in. And then there's this one dude on the side who did Zoro as well. So we got double Zoro. We got, you know, female gender bender Zoro. We got legit Zoro. He did a good job. So everyone here just, you know, looks really cool. So if you're a One Piece fan, this is a great site. They're Nakama. Oh, and of course, after a fun day hanging out, we got to get some food. So afterwards, of course, we had to go get some Asian food. We got some tom yum soup. We got some pho because, of course, wife needs the pho and the noodles. So we wrapped up the day getting some food and a little dessert. And if you've never had this, you got to have it. I mean, this is amazing. So this is a mango rice dessert dish, and it has this coconut cream in it. So it's not, you know, milk or dairy, although it kind of looks like it at first. It's just this delicious, sweet, sticky rice with mango, and it is warm, and it's just a treat. And the mango is, you know, soft. If they do it right, it's supposed to be soft and just kind of melts in your mouth. It is an excellent dessert. Okay, and a little, I guess these are out of order, but it's all good. But you can see here's the group hustling on those comic signings. So Eric July's all the way back here. He's like, okay, I got to sign all these because it was a lot. Like he could not get a break. He was constantly going, having to do book signings, or then having to go to take pictures and photo ops, or arranging for the next guest. It was just nonstop for him. So he just kind of had to lay back and be like, all right, guys, keep passing me the books as we go, because there was just that many people and that much merch to sign and to move and all that good stuff. So the team was great. You can see there's Kara there hanging out for helping facilitate. And I think this might be on Twitter. He goes by Renowned Zero. I think that's it. Maybe I just said it wrong, but he was there too. He also said hi to us. He was like, "Oh, Jack and Phil." I was like, "Oh, sweet," because he follows on Twitter. It's like, "Oh, yes. I seen you." So that was awesome. Awesome to see. Oh, and yeah, the yaira sisters. They gave a big hug, multiple big hugs. They got the cool yaira there too. They were just so friendly. They just did a great job at being brand reps. You know, they killed it. Just, you know, making people feel warm and welcome, answering questions, you know, whatever people wanted to hear about, they were there for it. So real big team players. Oh, and here's a picture of their Roddick and XRay Girl, his producer. So they came, they did meet, greet, photo, signing things, this or that. he certainly brought his own fan base there. And they did a good job of their panels and facilitating, people coming by. There's just a ton of excitement about that. As you can see here, shaking hands, saying hi to fans, all that good stuff. So, and that's that. That's our Megacon recap. It was awesome here to see everybody here with, Pha and Kara, Alex, Brandon, just everyone just being so kind, so friendly, so warm, thoughtful, including us, as in like, bringing us to the side and just, showing us lots of love and fandom support as well. Just really made our day, really made everything so worth it and so happy and so joyous, to see the success and the facilitation of everyone's working toward that building and budding bigger success. The crossovers with all the other people there, just amazing, just absolutely inspiring, and something that's admirable and something to look up to. If you're in this space, what Rippaverse has been doing is something you should be studying. If you are an independent creator and you're like thinking about, okay, what's my next level move, when I come to table and network and things like that, Rippaverse is someone to study. They're doing it well, they're doing it right, and they're absolutely helping build a solid fan base with fan service, and lots of great product offerings. So, well, I appreciate you hanging out with me for this Megacon recap. Obviously, that wasn't every single thing we did, but a little taste of it, a little taste of getting to be there. So if you missed out, you got a small little taste of what's going on, and also confirm that the Rippaverse team was there and they did a great job. And it was as bustling as they said. The pictures are 100% accurate. Can confirm it was huge. There was a lot of people there for Rippaverse, lots of lines, lots of people getting stuff signed, buying merch, all that, cosplaying too. A couple of cosplayers. I think Brock Solar's one, and I think the XRay Girl person did. Not Ingrid. What's her name? With Michael Copper and of course, now it's just gonna slip my mind. But the Japanese girl. Let me see. Maybe I can find this. Michael Copper and Lillian Renashi. That's right. Silly me, slipped my mind. So yeah, Lillian Renashi, she cosplayed that character. So there's definitely a few cosplays there as well. All right, well, I'm excited to update y'all next on whatever is going on with our trips and travels. We are in the works of planning a comic book store tabling. So we actually finally nailed one of those. We're going to have a comic book store event where we're going to be doing a meet and greet, photo op signing thing. And we'll be doing some more events too coming up. We have LP National in Washington, D.C. at the end of May. We're going to be tabling at that, in the premier A table spots with Voluntarist. We're going to table with, of course, my nonfiction books as well. And of course, the new kids book that we have, The Unschooled Adventures of Jack and Pha. So that's going to be super awesome to be out there in DC and getting to showcase the stuff to the national community of all the people who are coming in for that event. And if you haven't checked those out, definitely go ahead and check it out now below. Check out the links for this episode. And if you like the comic series, pick that up. If you want to check out my nonfiction, they're available print on demand Amazon. And the same thing goes for the kids book. And as always, check out the Rippaverse too. I'm excited for what they got cooking up with Yaira next. I think that's going to be a huge title. And I can't wait to pick that up, read it, and do a little unboxing with that too. So take care, everybody. And I'll